All right, quorum being present, the first order of business to hold a public hearing on the 2017 tax levy. Due notice has been given of the public hearing on the 2017 tax levy, and all other statutory requirements preliminary to the holding of such public hearing have been complied with. The proposed tax levy presented at the November board meeting, Mr. Baranek and Dr. Skinkis will present and explain the 2017 levy and answer any questions from the board. Dr. Skinkis?
So we're having, Scott will present the levy here in a minute. While we're having a hearing, the school district is not required to have a public hearing on its levy unless they're planning on levying more than 5% of the previous school year's levy. That has not been our historical practice. We usually levy 4.95 to ensure that we account for any new property or any tax dollars that are now available to the district. However, over the past 7 years, we've still held a hearing just to be transparent to the community and to allow people to provide public comments on the school district's levy. The school district's levy is the public tax dollars that the school district feels it needs for the next school year in order to operate the school district. And so what Mr. Baranek will go through is how we figure out the levy that we're requesting to the county and then what we can anticipate from the county. Remember, the levy the board will submit, or that Scott will submit to the county clerk's office, is no more than a request. But then the laws apply, and the county then makes a determination based on its assessors, assessed to the property values and the tax rates, and exactly what the district will receive. Scott?
Okay. Mary Ann, if you could please go to board book page 7 and pull up the 2017 levy spreadsheet, would be greatly appreciated. Okay, the first step in the entire levy process is to go back to the prior year to determine what was the amount the district requested and to determine the final calculation from the county clerk, the amount of property tax dollars the district is entitled to collect, which is known as the extension amount. If you could look at columns C through F on the levy spreadsheet, this will highlight what our 2016 tax levy year was. The first column is C. That is what the board requested back in December of 2016 for the levy without any loss. Column D is the extension without any loss. Let me explain what the loss is here. I've said it twice now. The loss is the factor that Cook County provides for loss collections for the district. There is a 3% loss factor on the operating funds and a 5% loss factor on the debt service funds. This is built in for anticipating lost tax collections. The final extension with the 3% loss is column E, and column F is just showing the difference between the board levy and the final extension rate with the 3%. The reason that we want to go back to the 2016 is to find the extension amounts. That's the key piece moving forward to projecting what our proposed 2017 tax levy will be. So if we move to the right on our levy worksheet, looking at columns G through column J, so we can see our proposed 2017 tax levy, which will be payable in 2018. The main focus in this particular section on the levy worksheet, I would like to have everyone look at column I, which is the board levy at 4.95%. These are 4.95% increases off of the prior year extension. This is the amount that the district will be requesting for the 2017 tax levy. With this amount of 4.95, this should capture all funds it's entitled to and collect any taxes generated from additional property out there. These amounts will be recommended for approval at tonight's board meeting. Column J takes into account the loss factor. That's just increasing column I by the 3% loss factor for each operating fund. Moving back to column G, this is more what the district can anticipate to collect based upon tax cap limitations. As Dr. Skinka said earlier, we don't have to have a truth in taxation, but it's nice to know that we do have the public hearing so the public can see what we're doing. The district is, held liable to either the increase of 5% from the prior year tax extension or what CPI is. CPI is the Consumer Price Index. The current CPI for the 2017 tax levy to be used is 2.1%. So being tax capped in it, the 2.1% is what the district can anticipate, what a closer amount would be for when the extension is finally done in the spring. So with that being said, if we could look at column G, it shows the levy at tax cap 2.1%. These are the amounts that are anticipated to be for when the extension comes through. Remember, we're asking for 4.95%. That's our request, so that we capture CPI plus any additional new taxes that are available to the district.
Column H.
Column H adds the 3% loss factor to column G, to those totals.
Okay, any other columns you'd like to cover or explain?
Yes, I'd like to explain column K and L, just kind of showing the projected dollar amount increases that the district can anticipate from the 2016 extension. Being that we're tax capped, we are going to anticipate getting about $412,315 additional tax dollars coming into the district that we're entitled to, with the board levy at 4.95%. If you notice on that one, we're requesting, and if everything came through with new property, which isn't going to be that, the max would be $972,357. But like I said, we're going to anticipate to get closer to the $412,515. As you move to the right of the levy sheet, going to the last two columns, column M is just showing the percent increase on just the dollar increases per fund. Then in column N, it shows what each fund's total is for our levy, breaking it down percentage-wise.
So basically, the operating funds account for 78%, and debt service accounts for 22%.
22% of our levy, that is correct.
So a taxpayer that's watching this video would say 78% of the taxes I pay the District 208 go to the day-to-day operating funds, and 22% go to pay off the debt that was used for the 2006 referendum, the life safety projects, and the most recent working cash bond.
Yep, that is correct.
Okay.
And then following up, the last piece with this is just going over the debt service payment on the levy. As Dr. Skinka says, that's for our outstanding debt payments. We have the 5 total. The county clerk will extend the debt service amount based on the actual payments. The debt payments were verified by the district bond underwriter, Raymond James, to match the amount that is in column I for our debt service payment. What I'm recommending to the board is to adopt the 2017 tax levy, which are the amounts going down column I, BOE levy at 4.95%.
At this point in time, this is when Mr. Gritchen, the board fields any questions from the board, and then if there's citizen comments in regards to the levy hearing.
The meeting will now be open for public discussion, and all persons desiring to be heard will be heard at this time. Let's first go to the board members, and then I'll open up for visitors if the visitors have any comments. So anyone on my left, board members, have any questions?
Nope.
Am I right?
No. No.
All right, I'm opening it for visitors. Any visitors have any comments on the levy? Seeing none, we'll move on to declaring that the public hearing on the 2017 tax levy be completed and the regular meeting will now proceed.
Want me to read the
Do we
rest?
have to then go and do a motion to
Yes.
approve the levy now?
The
right?
levy, we have the motion for the
Do you have a
levy
mo-
under the consent agenda, is how we've done it in the past.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
Why do we have it in line?
Mary Ann, you have you have a resolution on the action sheet and you have the resolution on the consent agenda.
It was, whatever was wanted to,
Let's do it on a consent
we
agenda.
usually do it in the consent.
Yeah, we're doing
Past
the
practice
consent.
has been consent,
We'll
we
move
did
it
it
to
here.
consent. All right.
That works for me.
So now we have.
Going down to reports.
Student Association.
Student Association, don't see anyone
They
here.
didn't come twice, though. What's going on?
President's report, I don't have anything to report
Student
on.
Association was here in November.
They only two
Only two.
freshmen came. The freshmen came, not the student association. Who's in charge of student association?
This is a busy time of year, and sometimes when there's only one meeting of the month, they don't typically come.
All right.
Because it's at a different time of the month than
Well,
when
tell
they
them I'm gonna be
normally come.
disappointed if they don't come
I
in
know Max
January
is in the
now.
pool, so one of them is swimming.
The president was running down the stairs when I was going up them, so she said hi to me.